What is up, everybody? Now we're going over the second assignment of the week. Your first assignment was your living history journal. This assignment is called Quotes of the Philosophes. Okay, so what you're going to be doing here is looking at individual quotes that philosophers said during the Enlightenment. And just to clarify, a philosophe is a philosopher. Okay, the Enlightenment was popular in France most of all. So the word for the French word for philosopher is what we use during the Enlightenment when we talk about philosophers. So philosophe just means philosopher. It's the same thing. It's just a French term, sort of paying respect to France because the Enlightenment was kind of led by the French in a way. So there's a few instructions here. The first instruction says read the quote in the designated box. Okay, so B says circle your opinion in the quote, whether that is strongly agree, disagree, agree, or strongly agree. Had we done this in class, it would have been a four-corner discussion, and you would have gone to the corner that says strongly agree or strongly disagree and talked about it with other people. We don't have that, so we can still work with these quotes, but it is not going to be an interactive discussion. So you're going to explain your reasoning in 3 complete sentences. Okay, so you're going to explain why you strongly disagree or why you disagree or whatever it is in 3 complete sentences. So the first question, the warm-up here says, is it beneficial to give the government control over us? Why or why not? And you can take this however you want to, in whatever direction you want to. But remember, every single box here that you write a response in should have at least 3 sentences. So you're going to answer this question in 3 sentences. This is pretty useful to consider, especially right now that we're going through this pandemic, because we're seeing the government sort of have more control than they usually have, right? Um, and some people think that's probably necessary and it's a good thing, and some people think maybe the government's exercising a little too much control, and then there's everybody in between. So you guys can discuss it and sort of give your answer with that in mind in this box here. So here's what the questions are going to look like. Okay, here's your quote. That's box A. So the instruction for A is read the quote in the designated box. You're going to read that quote. Life without government is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. That was said by Thomas Hobbes. Okay. Um, Basically, what he's saying here is that life without government is scary and dangerous and will get you killed, and you're not going to live for a long time because the government is protecting us. So, okay, so you're going to write whether you agree with a quote here, or just circle the box, or you can highlight it if you want to because it's a Google Doc, and then you're going to explain why you feel that way in 3 sentences in box C. Okay, so that's quote 1. Quote 2 says government exists only to preserve life, liberty, and property. And what you should consider here is that he's saying, and this is John Locke, he's saying that the government should not do more than that. Okay, all the government should do is make sure you're able to stay alive, make sure you have freedom, and make sure that nobody takes your things. And the power of the government should stop there. Okay, so again, you're gonna state whether you agree or disagree with a quote, and then explain why in 3 sentences. Guys, I didn't write in 3 sentences on every box. You should know this by now. Just write in 3 sentences, like it said up here, and like it says here. Okay, 3 sentences. All right. Quote 3 says, man is born free, but everywhere is in chains. Okay, so that's saying basically that the people in power take power away from people, right? So we're born free, but after some time living in the world, in a country, we end up in chains. Okay, so again, state whether you agree or not. Quote number 4 says, no man chooses evil because it is evil. He only mistakes it for happiness. It is the good he seeks. Okay, this is written by Mary Wollstonecraft. And what she's saying here is that people are inherently good. Okay, everybody wants to be good. So when people do evil things, they're not choosing to be evil. Okay, they just have a misunderstanding of what creates happiness. Okay, but overall, what people are looking for is the good in things. All right, so she's being a little more optimistic than Thomas Hobbes for sure. So you're going to state whether you agree or disagree with a quote and explain why here. Okay, I have an example here. This is going to be a fifth quote. You're not going to see this on your paper. This is just an example that I put here to go through with you guys. So virtue can only flourish among equals. Okay, now let's say that you are reading through this and then you're not sure what one of these words means. So virtue, what's virtue? Okay, what you can do is open up a tab. Actually, don't even do that. You can do this. Okay, highlight the word, right click. Okay, define virtue. It's right there. Behavior showing high moral standards. Okay, so with that in mind now, she's saying behavior showing high moral standards can only flourish among equals. Okay, so I guess what she's getting at is that people only behave with high standards towards people they have decided are equal to them, right? If you think you're better than someone, it's more likely that you're going to treat that person with disrespect, right? And I would say that's probably true. So I would say I strongly agree with this, okay, because I feel like I see that in light a lot in life. So I'm going to highlight this. Let's do it in yellow. Let's do it in green. Okay, and why? I would write here, I strongly agree with this quote. One sentence. I agree because in life I feel like, so in life I often see people treating each other unfairly, and I think it happens because people seem to think they are more important than others, or that other people are not as good as them, right? Or let's be a little more academic about that. Not as um hmm that other people are not, yeah, let's just say as good as them. I think when people assume someone is on the same level as them, they will treat that person more fairly. Okay, so there are my three sentences. Okay, I strongly agree with this quote. I agree because in life, I often see people treating each other unfairly, and I think it is because people seem to think that they are more important than others, or that other people are not as good as them. I think when people assume someone is on the same level as them, they will treat that person more fairly. Okay, um, and you could see that in school among students. You can see that among employees if you work in a company. You can see that, when you see someone in power abusing someone below them, right? So I do think that virtue can only flourish among equals, and if we see each other as equals, then we are able to, I guess, yeah, just treat each other more fairly, right? And that's what Mary Wollstonecraft is getting at there. That if we begin to see each other as equals, then people will treat each other much more fairly. All right. So that is how I want you guys to go through this assignment. I'm not going to get these done for you guys because I want you to think about these and you to explain your ideas in an original way using your own thoughts. Um, and that is pretty much it. If you have any questions about this, let me know. And that is all, guys. Okay, I will see you around. Thank you for visiting when you do. And again, if you have any questions, send me a message on Google, email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Bye, guys.